The average human life is around 4,000 weeks. That's it. And most productivity advice ignores this completely. Welcome to Whispering Pages. If you're here just for the summary, skip to the next chapter. For the rest of us, let's ease in. Let the room hold you for a moment. Notice where your body meets the bed, and let that be enough. What you hear in these last minutes before sleep tends to stick. The brain is more receptive here than almost anywhere else in your day. Tonight, 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman, 2021, a book that throws out every productivity system you've tried and offers something more honest in its place. Get comfortable. Close your eyes if you'd like. And let's whisper through this one together. Oliver Burkeman spent years writing a column for The Guardian called "This Column Will Change Your Life." He interviewed productivity experts, tested time management systems, tried every technique that promised to finally make him feel on top of things. And after years of doing this, he came to a conclusion that surprised him. None of it worked. Not in the way it promised. The more efficient he became, the more there was to do. The more he optimized, the further behind he felt. 4,000 Weeks is the book that came out of that realization. Published in 2021, it was an immediate bestseller, not because it promises a better system, but because it tells the truth about why systems keep failing us. Here's the central idea. The average human life lasts around 4,000 weeks. 80 years, roughly. And Burkeman's argument is that the real problem isn't that we're managing those weeks badly, it's that we've been sold an impossible fantasy. The fantasy that if we just get organized enough, efficient enough, disciplined enough, we'll finally reach the other side of our to-do list and feel free. But that other side doesn't exist. And the pursuit of it is quietly costing us the life we're trying to save time for. To understand how we got here, Burkeman takes us back a few centuries. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people didn't experience time as a resource. They didn't spend time or waste it. They worked when there was work to do, when the harvest needed bringing in, when the light was right, when the task called for it. Time was woven into the texture of life itself. You weren't separate from it. Then the clock changed everything. Factories needed coordination. Workers needed to arrive at the same hour, work the same shifts, be measured by output per unit of time. Suddenly, time became a thing you owned, or a thing your employer owned. It became currency. Something you could use well or use badly. Something you could lose. This shift, Burkeman argues, is where our anxiety about time was born. We inherited a relationship with time that's fundamentally adversarial. As though time is always running out, always slipping away, always something we're behind on. And the productivity industry has made it worse. Every new app, every morning routine, every batch processing technique implicitly promises the same thing. Master your time and you'll be free. But Burkeman noticed something. Every time he got more efficient, his inbox filled back up. Every time he cleared his plate, more appeared. There's even a name for this. Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time available. And in the modern world, the available work is effectively infinite. This is what he calls the efficiency trap. The harder you work to get on top of everything, the more everything multiplies. It's not a personal failing. It's a structural feature of modern life. There is always more. The inbox will never be empty. The to-do list will never be finished. And here's where the book makes its sharpest turn. Burkeman says this isn't actually a problem to solve. It's a truth to accept. We are finite creatures in an infinite world. We cannot do everything. We cannot read every book, visit every place, pursue every opportunity, respond to every email. We have to choose. And choosing means giving things up, forever. That sounds bleak. But Burkeman argues it's actually liberating, once you stop fighting it. The philosopher Martin Heidegger had a phrase that Burkeman returns to throughout the book. We don't have time, we are time. Our lives aren't containers that time fills. We're not separate beings who happen to exist within a duration. We are the duration. Every moment of attention we give to something is, in a very real sense, part of what we're made of. This reframes what's actually at stake when we let distraction take over, or when we defer our real priorities to some imagined future moment when life will be calmer. It's not just poor scheduling. It's a way of not showing up to your own existence. One of the most quietly devastating ideas in the book is what Burkeman calls the limit-embracing life. And it starts with a very honest question. What would it mean to actually accept that you can't do everything? Most of us relate to our to-do lists as though everything on them is, in principle, achievable. If we just manage our time better, work faster, sleep less, optimize harder. We carry around a secret belief that one day we'll be caught up, that the overwhelm is temporary. But Burkeman says this belief is the source of enormous unnecessary suffering. The overwhelm isn't temporary. It's the condition of being alive in the modern world. So what do you do instead? You make real choices. Not optimized choices, real ones. Choices that involve genuinely giving something up, not just rescheduling it to next week. Burkeman has a term for the alternative to this. He calls it the pay yourself first principle, borrowed from personal finance, but applied to time. Before you open the inbox, before you respond to what everyone else needs from you, you put a fixed, protected amount of time toward the work that actually matters to you. Not because you've earned it. Not after the other stuff is done. First. And alongside this, he recommends something that sounds counterproductive: strategic underachievement. Consciously deciding which areas of your life you're going to do badly. Not accidentally, not out of laziness, but deliberately. Because trying to do everything well is a recipe for doing nothing fully. Choosing what to fail at is a form of clarity. He also suggests limiting your active work in progress to 3 projects at most. The reason is psychological. When we have too many things in motion simultaneously, nothing ever actually finishes, and the incomplete tasks pile up, creating a constant background hum of anxiety. Narrowing the pipeline forces completion, which in turn creates the feeling of actually moving forward. Then there's the question of distraction. Burkeman's take is unusual. He doesn't frame distraction as a discipline problem. He doesn't tell you to delete your apps or use a timer. His argument is more fundamental. We reach for distraction because we're trying to escape the discomfort of focusing on something that matters. When you sit down to do real work, the work that's actually important to you, you immediately encounter all its difficulty, the uncertainty, the possibility of failure, the fact that your draft is worse than your vision for it. And distraction offers an exit from that discomfort. It's not that your phone is too tempting. It's that the discomfort of meaningful work is something you haven't learned to sit with. This connects to something a meditation teacher named Shinzen Young describes in the book. He argues that the real pain of any difficult experience comes from our resistance to it. The discomfort itself might be a 2, but our resistance multiplies it. Pain times resistance equals suffering. What this suggests is that the path through distraction isn't tied to willpower. it's developing a greater tolerance for the discomfort that meaningful work involves. There's also a deeper pattern Burkeman identifies in how we relate to the future. Most of us treat the present as a kind of waiting room. We tell ourselves that once the project is finished, once the kids are older, once we've moved, once we've made enough money, then real life begins. Then we'll finally be present, finally be settled, finally get to do the things we actually want to do. But this is, Burkeman says, a trick the mind plays on us indefinitely. The present moment never becomes the right moment because we're always arranging it to become the stepping stone to the next one. And this habit, of treating now as mere preparation for later, is one of the most reliable ways to miss your own life. He quotes the philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was once asked what his secret was. He said simply, "I don't mind what happens." Not indifference, not passivity, but a deep willingness to be with what is, rather than always oriented toward what's coming. Burkeman has a lot to say about planning, and most of it will feel like a relief if you've ever beaten yourself up for running behind schedule. He introduces Hofstadter's law, which states that any task will take longer than you expect, even when you account for Hofstadter's law. It's recursive. It keeps applying. And the reason isn't simply that we're bad at estimating. It's that the future is genuinely unknowable, and our plans are built on the fiction that it isn't. When we make a plan, we feel briefly in control. The plan is a map, and the map feels like the territory. But Burkeman's point is that plans are just thoughts. They are mental representations of how things might go, not commitments the universe has agreed to honor. And when reality diverges from the plan, we experience it as failure rather than as the simple, inevitable fact of being alive in an unpredictable world. This doesn't mean planning is useless. It means we need to hold our plans more lightly, to use them as guides rather than scripts, and to recognize that the anxiety we feel when things don't go according to plan is often not about the situation, it's about our attachment to the feeling of control. There's a particularly moving section in the book about parenthood. Burkeman is a father, and he talks about the temptation to treat childhood as a project, to optimize your child's development, fill their schedule with enriching activities, prepare them for a successful future. The time you spend with your children gets mentally filed under investment, rather than lived for what it actually is. But children aren't outcomes. Childhood isn't preparation. The afternoons playing in the garden aren't prologue to the real thing. They are the real thing. And the habit of treating the present as raw material for the future means those afternoons pass unrealized, their value unrecognized, because you were too busy thinking about what comes next. This same principle applies everywhere. Burkeman writes about what philosophers call Atelic activities, things done for their own sake, with no external goal. A hike isn't a failed attempt to be somewhere else. A hobby isn't a waste of time until it generates income. Playing with your kids isn't training them for adulthood. These activities have value that exists entirely in the doing, and that value disappears the moment you reframe them as instruments for some other outcome. He draws a contrast with our current relationship to leisure. Most of us have absorbed, often without realizing it, the Protestant work ethic suspicion of rest. Idleness feels like a moral failing. Even our hobbies have to be productive. We should be building a skill, improving our fitness, working towards some goal. Burkeman cites the philosopher Aristotle, who had almost the opposite view. Leisure, he argued, was the highest human activity. Work existed to create the conditions for leisure, not the other way around. By this reckoning, Spending a Sunday afternoon doing nothing in particular isn't slacking. It's the whole point. There's a lovely example in the book of Rod Stewart, the rock musician, whose genuine passion is building intricate model railway sets. He's been doing it for decades, without fanfare, without monetizing it, without it going anywhere. It just is what it is. And Burkeman holds this up as a model, of a kind. The ability to do something wholeheartedly, for no reason beyond the fact that it brings you alive. The chapter on rest also points to something quietly radical. Burkeman notes that in medieval Europe, people worked roughly 150 days a year. Saints' days, feast days, and community observances accounted for the rest. The modern assumption that productivity requires constant effort is historically unusual. The idea that busyness signals virtue, that being busy means you matter, is a relatively recent invention, and not obviously a wise one. What would it mean to genuinely rest? Not to recover for the next burst of productivity, but to rest as an end in itself? Burkeman thinks this might be one of the most countercultural things a person can do right now. There's a chapter in the book about impatience that feels uncomfortably accurate if you've ever refreshed a loading screen or felt irritated at a slow elevator. Burkeman's argument is that technology has broken our relationship with time in a specific way. Every time a new tool makes something faster, we don't feel more patient, we feel more entitled to speed. When email arrived, waiting 2 weeks for a letter became unacceptable. When the internet arrived, waiting 2 days for email became unacceptable. Each acceleration raises the floor of what feels tolerable. The psychologist Stephanie Brown describes this as an addiction to speed that operates exactly like other addictions. The more you get, the more you need. The faster things go, the more intolerable any slowness becomes. And the deeper problem is that this addiction isn't just about convenience, it's about control. Speed gives us the feeling that we're on top of things, that we're winning the race against the infinite to-do list. Slowing down feels like losing. But Burkeman makes a different case. He says that patience isn't passivity. It's a form of presence. When you're genuinely patient, not white-knuckling your way through a delay, but actually settled in it, you're not losing time. You're in time, rather than at war with it. He describes an exercise that the art historian Jennifer Roberts assigns to her students at Harvard. Before any other analysis, they must spend 3 hours looking at a single painting. 3 hours, with the same painting, in silence. Most students find the first 15 minutes almost unbearable. But something shifts around the 30-minute mark. Details emerge that weren't visible before. The painting starts to reveal itself. The student stops trying to extract the painting and starts experiencing it. Burkeman uses this as a model for a broader way of being. Most of us skim the surface of our experiences, rushing through them to get to the next one, always half present, mentally already somewhere else. The slowing down that Roberts forces is radical not because of what it teaches about the painting, but because of what it teaches about attention itself. There's another wonderful image in this section. The Finnish photographer Arno Minkkinen described his career in terms of what he called the Helsinki bus station parable. Helsinki has dozens of bus routes that all leave from the same central station, and for the first several stops, they all travel the same roads. A photographer starting out takes pictures that look like everyone else's, because everyone's bus is on the same street. Most photographers give up at this point, convinced their work lacks originality, and go back to the station to board a different bus. But the photographers who become truly distinctive are the ones who stay on their bus long enough to diverge from the shared route. This is Burkeman's image for commitment. Every creative and professional path starts on common ground. The divergence, the point where your work becomes unmistakably yours, only comes after you've stayed on the bus long enough. The temptation is always to switch before that point, convinced the next bus will be more promising. But the next bus starts the same way. The problem isn't the route. It's the impatience. He connects this to a chapter about synchronization, the idea that time is not just a personal resource but a communal one. There's a study Burkeman cites from Sweden, where researchers found that people felt significantly happier when they were on holiday at the same time as their friends and family, compared to taking time off when everyone else was working. The pleasure of rest isn't purely individual. It's relational. You need other people to be resting alongside you for rest to feel complete. This is why the Soviet Union's experiment with a 5-day rotating work week, designed to increase factory output by keeping machines running 7 days a week, failed. Workers were assigned different rest days, which meant no one ever had the same day off. People couldn't coordinate. Couples worked opposite schedules. Friends couldn't meet. The communal fabric of shared time dissolved. The experiment was abandoned within a few years. Time, this suggests, isn't something we manage alone. Its deepest pleasures are social, and those pleasures require coordination. One implication is that individual productivity hacking has limits. Some of the most meaningful time we can spend is time spent in rhythm with others. Near the end of the book, Burkeman introduces what he calls cosmic insignificance therapy. The phrase sounds dark, but the effect is almost the opposite. Here's the image he offers. If you lined up all the centenarians who have ever existed, all the people who lived to 100 years or more, and had each one stand on the shoulders of the previous one, the entire column of humanity's longest lives, stacked end to end, would be just 60 people tall. 60 people. That's all the time there has been between us and the beginning of recorded civilization. The point isn't that life is meaningless. The point is that the scale of significance we're often holding ourselves to is wildly inflated. We carry around a private belief that we should be making a dent in the universe, leaving a lasting mark, becoming someone who really mattered. And when ordinary life fails to deliver that, when we're just living an ordinary life, doing ordinary things, loving ordinary people, it feels like failure. But Burkeman says the relief is available the moment you genuinely let that standard go. You are a speck. Your time here is vanishingly short on any cosmic scale. And this is, in a strange way, good news. Because it means the ordinary things, the conversation over dinner, the afternoon walk, the moment a child laughs, don't need to justify themselves by contributing to some larger legacy. They're already enough. They're already the thing. The book ends with 5 questions Burkeman thinks are worth sitting with. Where are you choosing comfort over the productive discomfort that a meaningful project requires? Are you holding yourself to an impossible productivity standard and using it to avoid actually starting? Are you waiting to become a better, more capable version of yourself before committing to something you care about? Are you holding back in relationships, waiting until things are more certain before really showing up? And finally, how would you act if you knew the outcome didn't ultimately matter? These aren't questions with neat answers. They're invitations to notice where the fear of finitude is actually running the show. One comparison book worth noting: if 4,000 Weeks stirs something in you but you want a more practical companion for it, Oliver Burkeman's own appendix is a good start. 10 concrete tools ranging from closing your to-do list to practicing doing nothing deliberately. But for those who want to go deeper on the intersection of time, philosophy, and financial life, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel covers adjacent ground about accepting what you can't control from a wealth-building angle. The two books sit beautifully together. A fair critique. Burkeman writes primarily from the experience of a knowledge worker in a wealthy country, and he acknowledges this. The luxury of choosing what to fail at is not equally available to everyone. For someone working multiple jobs to survive, strategic underachievement reads differently. The book's emotional core is powerful, but its practical advice is most useful to people who already have some degree of autonomy over their schedule. And it occasionally tips into the philosophical in ways that make the ideas feel abstract when a concrete example would serve better. That said, when Burkeman grounds his arguments in stories, the Swedish vacation study, the Helsinki bus parable, the 3-hour painting, the book becomes genuinely beautiful. You don't have to solve the problem of your finite life tonight. You just have to notice it, clearly, without flinching. 4,000 weeks. That's what you have. Not a problem. Not a failure of planning. Just the shape of a human life. Sleep well. And we'll see you at Whispering Pages for the next one.